Hi good people, I hope you're doing well today. This is Irene and this is Hairy Lifestyle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make milk kefir. I don't know if you've ever heard of milk kefir or just kefir in general. Now, if you go online, some people say kefir, some people call it kefir, kefir, kefir. I've had so many pronunciations, but as a Kenyan, I simply call it kefir. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my milk kefir. As you know guys, I'm always on the lookout for healthy stuff, healthy drinks and healthy foods that I can incorporate into my diet. And one of those things that I constantly take is milk kefir. Milk kefir is simply cultured milk that has been cultured using what we call kefir starter. Now, it's different from mala, it's different from yogurt. Some people like to look at it as, mala. But it's not really mala because the process of it getting cultured is totally different from how mala is made. It is also not mursik, but it's very similar. Mursik is what we know as the Kalenjin fermented drink. So think along those lines, a fermented drink that is healthy and that is good for your gut. When you read around the internet on things healthy, you will be told your health depends on the health of your gut. And let's say you've been unwell and you've been taking antibiotics. Many times you'll be encouraged to take foods like yogurt so that you can reintroduce back into your gut good bacteria. And like that time you're fighting bad bacteria, you've taken antibiotics, now take some yogurt, take some cultured food so that you can reintroduce into your gut good bacteria. Kefir is that drink, is one of those drinks that is fermented and that is full of good bacteria that you want to have in your system. In fact, when I was looking around, I discovered that the name kefir is a Greek word that means feel good. It's because this drink was usually taken after a meal to give you a feel good. And that feel good comes from you being able to digest your food. We are told every day, food is not just what we consume, but what we can actually digest. And the health of our gut is so important that our entire health depends on the health of our gut. And that is the reason why I consume kefir, because I want to have a healthy gut. I'm looking for fermented foods and fermented drinks that will ensure that I have good probiotics. They'll feed my gut with good probiotics, and that is what kefir is all about. Here is the milk kefir that I made like 2 days ago. The weather has been a little colder. You all know we are still in the cold season, so it has taken a bit longer for it to culture and get to this level. So it took me about 2 days to make this. Normally it would take you about 24 to 36 hours. As you can see from my kefir, this one has completely separated. You can see the whey, and you can see that now the milk solids have floated to the top of it. Some people would prefer it to separate a little less. Some people are okay. So how much you want it to separate depends on your own taste. The more it cultures, the more tart it becomes, but the healthier it is for you, and the more all the milk lactose has been eaten out of that milk, and so the healthier it is actually for you. This drink is very good, especially for those people who cannot tolerate milk. There are those people who cannot digest milk, but milk that has been cultured is usually easier for you to digest because all the lactose, which is usually what causes people problems when it comes to digestion, has already been eaten up, and so that milk is very easy for you. That cultured milk is very easy for you to digest. So this is what I made yesterday. How did I make it? I just simply took some milk, like what I have here. I usually use any sort of milk. You can use fresh milk from the cow, that is raw milk, or you can use pasteurized, any sort of pasteurized milk. This is milk that I have bought, milk from a milk ATM. You guys know what that is here in Kenya. And so what I did is I took my milk, put it in this jar, and then added the kefir grains. And then those kefir grains are now the ones that go ahead and ferment that milk over a period of time. Now, kefir grains have been called, some people call them grains, but they're called kefir grains, but they're not really grains. That's just a descriptive term that is used to describe them. They look like little cauliflower florets or something. Now these are actually living organisms. This is where you have your bacteria and your yeast, and it's actually alive. This bacteria and yeast is what is going to go ahead and feed on the milk lactose and ferment your milk. So these are the grains that we use. This is what is kefir culture. How do you get the grains? Grains can be bought online, or you can find somebody who already has grains and they can share with you, who already has kefir culture, and they can share with you some of their culture, and then you can begin to make your own kefir. I can just say here, I've already shared my kefir with, I don't know, so many people. These grains keep growing. The more you make kefir, the more they grow, the more they multiply. So that's how you get them. Either go online and Google and you'll find there are people who sell these grains and you can buy them, or find somebody who already has kefir grains and they're willing to share with you or willing to sell to you. It depends. It depends. Some people, if you're out of the country, you can buy them online and they will be shipped to you. Just do some Google search and you'll be able to find the kefir grains. Of course, there's also water kefir, so don't confuse the two. There's water kefir and there's milk kefir. Yeah. So when these kefir grains are not in use, we usually like to store them in just a jar of milk and put them in the fridge. That way they'll be in some sort of hibernation state. But when you want to use them, you just put them in a good amount of milk and then allow that to sit at room temperature. Now, what I love about kefir is because it's very easy to make. It does not involve boiling. It doesn't involve anything like temperature. You don't need to hold that milk in a certain temperature like the way we make yogurt. You've seen all the videos I've shared in my channel when I'm making yogurt, and you can see it's quite the process. You have to get the temperature right, and you have to have certain tools, maybe a yogurt maker, an instant pot, an electric pressure cooker, or you'll need to, you know, put your milk in an oven. One way or the other, you'll have to find a way to get the right temperature to make yogurt. But when it comes to kefir, you don't have to worry about temperature. You just need your milk and you just need your grains. Mix the two, have it sit at room temperature on your kitchen surface, and just watch it. If at 12 hours it's well fermented, depending on the weather and depending on the temperature of your kitchen, then there you have it. If you need to let it sit for 24 hours, there you have it. If you need to let it sit for longer because maybe it's colder outside or the temperatures are very cold, that's all you need to do. So milk and the grains and you're good to go. And that way you'll have a very good and healthy probiotic drink to add to your arsenal of healthy foods. So I'm going to use this bowl and of course a sieve and a spoon so that I can be able to filter out the grains. First of all, I'll try and remove as much whey as possible, then remove the kefir grains so that I can now be left with my milk kefir. Hope you can see that. First, I'm going to scoop the kefir, the one on top, and put it on a plate. The grains are actually in this milk kefir. You can't see the grains until we filter them out. Now that I'm able to reach the whey, I'm going to just try and push aside the kefir and let the whey come out first. Can you see that? Now you don't have to remove all the whey, just try to get as much of it as possible. I'm going to use this clear glass so that you can see a bit of the way. Here is the kefir that I have scooped out, that I'm now going to go ahead and filter. So I'm just going to use a spoon and push out the kefir onto my container. You can push it as hard as possible. The grains will definitely not go through the sieve. I hope you can see how that is coming out. So as you can see, my grains are being left in the sieve as I push out my kefir. These are my kefir grains. Now, this is quite a bit of whey that I've already removed. As you can see, this is all the whey that I've removed. I'm not going to try to remove any more than this. So I'll just go ahead and sieve out the rest of the kefir that is left. These are my kefir grains that were inside the kefir. This is the kefir that I have now. I just want to mix it up to get it to a smooth consistency. That's the consistency of my kefir. If I had removed more whey, it would be heavier than that. So the thickness of your kefir just depends on how much whey you leave inside. So I'm going to just go ahead and put it in my glass bottle. And so this is where we are at. Here is the kefir we have just made. I've poured it into this glass jar. I love these glass jars. They're long and slender. They carry up to, I believe, 1 liter. So this is just a little shy of 1 liter of kefir. This is what we've just made. I can't wait. I'll put this in the fridge and I'll be able to consume it. Over here, this is the whey that I collected out of it. You can still see some of the kefir will go down there. I can actually consume this if I want to. It will just be a little less dense. It will be a bit of a lighter liquid. This can be consumed. This you can use as well for baking. Anywhere it calls for buttermilk or any liquid that you use. Where you use yogurt or buttermilk, you can use this for baking. You can use this for making your pancakes. You can also feed this to your pets or feed this to your plants. If you have a house plant or you have a garden, you don't have to feel like this is going to go to waste. It can still be used. It's full of probiotics. And it's also still full of vitamins and minerals and a lot of good healthy gut bacteria. Good healthy bacteria that will be good for your plants or your pets. Yeah, so you don't have to waste this. You can also consume it. You can also use it to make smoothies, by the way. And here lastly, I have my kefir grains. I hope you can see them. I have filtered them out. So now we're going to go through the process of making a new batch of kefir. So now we are ready to make a new batch of kefir. I've gone ahead and washed my jar. I've made sure I've washed it and sterilized it. It's completely clean, along with the lid that I'm going to be using. This is a jar that carries about 1.5 to 2 liters of milk. This is the jar that I'm going to be using my fresh batch of kefir. This is what I usually use. Here I have my milk, the milk that I showed you. This was ATM milk. I bought it from a milk ATM. And this is what I'm going to be using, of course. And here are my kefir grains, the ones that I removed from the other batch. I hope you can see them. So let's go ahead and make a new batch of kefir. And there you have it. This is my new batch of kefir. The grains are inside, the milk is inside. I'm not going to fill it all the way to the top. I'm going to leave some headroom because of course the milk will separate and come up, and also, of course some gases do accumulate. I'm going to also close the jar, but not necessarily tightly. It doesn't have to be airtight. Just close it. I mean, I don't want anything to get into our milk. And I'm going to just keep this at room temperature, keep it on my kitchen counter until it's ready. And that is simply the process of making a new batch of kefir. It's that simple. So I'm going to check on it every few hours, maybe at 12 hours, at 24 hours, to see how it's doing. So there we have it. This is my new batch of kefir that I'm going to put on my kitchen counter and let it ferment. Here I have what we have made today. That's the consistency, if you can see it. I just want to do a taste test. You can flavor or sweeten your kefir as you wish. You can use sugar, you can use honey, whatever it is you wish. Here you go. It's nice. It's thick. It's creamy. It's very, very tangy. Tastes like, you know, natural yogurt that has not been sweetened, or mala that has not been sweetened. Yeah, it's lovely. I love it, and I'm gonna be enjoying this. And so there you have it. I wanted to share with you how I make milk kefir, and I hope you've learned something new. If you've never tried kefir, by the way, you can actually buy it from the shop, but you know, that one you cannot guarantee what they've added to it, how well it has been made, and of course it is going to be pretty pricey. So learn to make these things for yourself. Learn to make all these healthy alternatives and healthy foods that you can consume and that you can give to your children and give to your family. I hope you learned something new. I hope you're gonna try making some kefir. Try and find some kefir grains. Try buy some kefir grains, or get somebody to share them with you and make your own kefir at home. It's gonna give you a very healthy gut. Asanteni sana. I'll see you in my next video. This is Irene, Hairy Lifestyle. Subscribe, like, comment, share. You know what to do. See you in my next video.